So now you have said that no, actually I am not married. So hapo kwa hiyo that hapa mama Bogo akijua, you are replaying that conversation in your head. And now you decide to tell this person, no, me I'm not married. You swear it that you're a single person. Alafu bank kidiscover. Utaenda aje?
Ukufe? Ama uhame Kenya. Welcome to another episode of the Wide Podcast. My name is Hansen. Here we discuss life, flow, fun, and everything in between.
Hi everybody, my name is Val and welcome to another episode
of the Wide Podcast.
Asante umenikumbusha, asante.
Sawa. Hey. How are you? Mambo?
Poa sana broski, kwaje?
Niko salama sana.
Maisha yanakupeleka aje?
Napigana na Ruto vile nafanya.
Hapa kwa hapa.
Akitupa natupa.
Hata wewe.
Sasa tufanye nini?
Enyewe. Economy. I share in your sentiments. Hata mi economy yake inani.
But the struggle continues.
Lazima.
Bills must be paid. Bills must be paid.
Life must be enjoyed.
Yes. Otherwise mambo si mbaya.
Okay.
I'm happy about today.
Okay.
We are about to address a very rosy topic. Yeah. You see what I did there?
See what you did there.
Yes. This was very deliberate. Yeah. Yes.
We're
about to address a very rosy topic, but if not properly handled, its terms have very does it use terms pricky? I'm trying to find the diction, but it's not.
Kiingereza imekuwa kubwa sana.
Kiingereza imekuwa kubwa lakini sina descriptive words, but anyway, yes. It's a rose flower. It's a rosy topic rather.
Yeah.
Yes, and roses have thorns. If not well handled, they could be beautiful, but they could mess you up. Sindio? But before we dive into it, wiki yako imekuaje? Highlight yako wiki imekuaje?
My week has been good. Ups and downs vile tumesema. For me, my highlight is a conversation that I caught on. Imagine I never used to like TikTok. I used to avoid TikTok for the exact reason that I have now. That thing is so addictive.
Yes.
Time inaweza isha. Like you can sit with your phone like this. You want to scroll for just 5 minutes. All of a sudden, a whole hour has passed. What happened? So, while I was doing my scrolling on TikTok.
Sorry, at that point, that's why you say, follow us on TikTok at the Wide Podcast.
Sasa kama umeshaona hizi vitu Bruce unasema tu. Support each other. Tunafaa kwa tukisupportiana.
That's why you follow
us on TikTok.
On TikTok. Anyway.
I saw this conversation. Whether to guys, it matters how your spouse has saved your contact on their phone. Because to us ladies, it does. For us ladies, it does. Mtu alikula vita proper. So I wanted to know. I'm like, how? All the comments that I was seeing there were like, it's ladies who are like, "Ai lazima, you can't just be saving me with my 3 government names."
Are they your names? Okay. Is it your name? I think that's the right thing. Is it your name? Because
unajua umechukua job yangu nilikuwa nataka kugonga na yeye nikwambia first of all you're speaking the wrong English. You're using wrong grammar.
Correct.
Umestapo umeji. Yes, it's my name but like mimi ni msupa wako shwali unaniandika tu hivyo kama hivi.
Think about it. Now that umesema mimi ni msupa wako ni ukisema kama msupa wangu uko sawa?
Bora tu si jina yangu. Bora tu isikwe jina yangu like at least let me be a level above the rest. Unaona?
That counts. Yeah. To take you levels above. Okay, so it's okay to have the rest. I'm thinking this conversation.
Hivyo venye unaenda si hivyo ndo nilikuwa naelekea. Above the rest is like I need to be special from like other people around you.
Okay.
Not at the others who play the same role I'm playing. Hiyo ni vita ingine tena unatafuta. So I need to feel special above the rest. So I wanted to know like if it matters to guys. You personally, do you care? Do you care how your name, how your wife has saved your name on her phone?
I don't know how to respond because I'm about to.
You need somewhere to sleep tonight. You need to be able to go home.
Yes. But anyway, right now, yes, I do.
You care?
Kinda, yeah.
But amekuandika pale Hansen Mido. Hivyo.
Anafanya niandika hapa my champion.
Mama my king.
Champion kama Arsenal. andika hapo ndio kwanza nilimwambia makosa ifanyike Arsenal ishinde ligi naenda kununua jezi hapo nyuma imeandikwa bibi ya champion
alafu champion
alafu mimi ndio champion
na mnapiga picha na mnaziva the same day
tunaenda kanisa
unaenda kanisa na judge kwenda first I hope ni kwenda kurudishia Mungu asante kwa sababu Arsenal wameshinda
service zote mbili yasu first service second service
kwanza ni kuombea Arsenal ya pili sana ni yenyu
ya kwanza ni kushukuru Mungu ameleta ushindi but anyway for me right now
it matters right
I'd say kinda because I get used to things a little bit quickly which so sahi nimezoea kuitwa she said me in a certain way
roho yako ilisikia vizuri
kuna date tulikasikia na ka change when you were still dating anyway you can notice the important
level above the rest
inakufanya unajua hapa ni kama nimechoma
hapo ndio
nilijua
indicator
it's never happened since I assume
unaona
juu kila saa muona niko sawa
uko sawa ndio bana labda hata watu mademo wanakula fair sasa ni juu hiyo
kwanza kundukwa na okay there was a time some grapevine was going around there was a time some grapevine was going around that the court clarified that the judiciary said it was not their ruling but at somebody had taken a lady to court arudishe 23,000 akampatiwa kama fair lakini ukifikira kusema tu ukweli fair 23k unapeleka wapi kwani unaenda wapi
kwani
na kutatiza ni
sisi analipia flight maybe ni lakini
simtumie wacha
kuna mwe airbase ni hapo nyuma tu
unani
airbase ni hapo nyuma tu
itabaki unatembea unajua Githurai ni wapi
Githurai
mwe airbase kwa Githurai
si Thika Road please aki my street credit in jeopardy wachana na please brother
tembea usikae tu kare tembea huko kwingine pia watu
nione kwingine kama leo I've learned that there's a place in Nairobi called Mwihoko
I plead the fifth kwa sababu close family stays there but anyway hakuna Mwihoko
mimi sikuwa nataka ku diss the place like I just didn't know but just naso kama ni western I was shocked like there's a place
interesting home of a very big comedian in this country called Osagu
okay ni nani
sorry ni kama Dave Chappelle ni Dave Chappelle wetu
yeye unajua wewe uniheshimu wewe
ni Dave Chappelle wetu na kuheshimu kwa sababu ni kama you are not acclimatized to the local content but he's actually a very funny guy
tulikuwa tulikuwa tunaniambia about fair ya 23k what did the court say
no the court clarified the judiciary clarified and said that it's not it wasn't a real case but anyway the story that was going around is that actually was sent for fair then she did not show up
labda umemwandika na jina yake hivi kwa nini
hapo ndio jina
kwa maana because I'm not special ya kazi gani sasa website akwa deni sasa
alikuwa na 23 alafu si special
ni sawa wewe unaweza ona hivyo lakini mimi nataka ku like you don't know that concept of like you love the person you're with their love language si yako because love language yake ndo like that's what allows them to know
you love them how they want to be loved that's what
thank you using their own love languages so for me if it's important like that my name is written in a special way even though na feel special asa nini shida kutype hivi kwa simu ndio itakushinda
unajua pia kuna lazima
nini
mens unajua
ni sawa yote nilikuwa nataka kusema kitu lakini nimekumbuka we are on camera sawa simple things like mimi ukiniambia like when you say I love you you don't love you who where is the I who loves me who
wait
who does who
do you think you're becoming I would say I
lazima uweke who does mimi sijui hiyo ni nani I lazima uweke
unajua kuna wasichana kuja na mwanga wazi si hata ushukuru Mungu na kumbe walazi wewe unasema nini kuna watu na mwanga wazi
poa
top shotter
top shotter what is that hapana wewe maneno ya mapenzi lazima Please
alafu sasa wewe hapo naambiwa love you. Wewe ni kama umepatiwa kitu kingine kubwa sana wewe.
Who does?
Sasa ndio ambaye wazi.
Nataka uniambie venye mimi nataka kuisikia.
Wewe sasa tena unaenda sana.
Hapo zenda sana. Wewe unataka amani. Cha muhimu ni amani. Unaona?
Hiyo na hiyo imetosha, hutanisumbua tena.
Hivyo tu. As long as you remember to rate it like nivo. That's it. Sina shida.
Cha muhimu ni amani. I'll pray for you.
Ako tu sawa. This is the hill he chose to die on. Ako tu sawa. Mlima.
Ndio mlima na kufia.
Hapa.
Kuisha.
Standard dynamics for relationships are different.
Yeah,
dynamics are different.
They're very different.
So like things like those, like it factors in. I mean, if your babe wants that, just do it. Like usikwe like don't look for problems where they are now. Stop shida penye hakuna.
So let me ask you, just so that we can introduce the next part of this conversation. If at all you could you borrow money from your significant other? Like, do you think that should be?
Like to borrow money?
Yes.
As in, hi babe, please send me 10K, I'll rudisha for you.
Yes.
Simi tu nitakwambia tu niko na kashida hivi. Alafu wewe uji nini? I need 10K for this and this and this. Me, I don't see it as a deni. I don't see it as a deni. So I just see it as my man giving me money.
Okay, and would you lend or would you give when it comes to you? Yeah, meaning giving.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. No strings attached.
No strings attached. Yeah. Like even giving, I would. Hapa nikiona ka kitu hivi. And like the person is kuna struggles kidogo. Why not? Me, I don't have a problem. Because me, if I need, I get. I have no issue.
Lakini and I would get.
Yeah.
Where?
If I need, I get. Me, I have no issue with that. Because again, those are the dynamics. There are some who would say Mrs. Peta mwanaume pesa. Yeah. But if I give you, like I don't give you and expect that you utanirudishia, like you'll pay me again. Like that's it. I've already given you. It's not a deni.
Okay.
But I have heard of some where nikikupatia 20K unanirudishia 20 ama 22.
Now, let me up the volume a little. Would you educate your significant other? For free.
Unajua kia naonanga hizi vitu wake. Kwa nini unanitafutia shida penye hakuna?
Wewe utasomesha mzee ama utamsomesha?
Nikiwa na dose says mind. Sijui. Honestly, sijui. I've never been in that I've never been in that position where like that's a thing. But if he's my husband, I would. If he's my husband, I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the responsibility, you feel like when you walk down the aisle, there's or whatever way you
now we are
they
one.
Become your husband.
Yeah. So see now we are one. I don't have an issue. If they're my husband, I am. Boyfriend. Sijui kama naweza kusema ukweli. But it's because I've never been presented with a situation where something like that is needed. Kini pia yako na ego kutoka papa Kazambia, sidhani hata anaweza niuliza.
Afadhali getu mjinga.
I don't think he would. Again, it's not because I've been in that situation. Now, even in that situation, I don't think I'd consider it a debt. You would do. But you're married and you're a man. Dynamics are different.
Very different.
You would easily.
Yes.
No. Dynamics are different because lakini we live also in a different era nowadays, and I think it's a person-to-person thing. I don't. Maybe it's because I've never been in that position. That's why.
Yeah, because I've seen some people, especially when you're doing rounds, not other stories doing rounds on radio, where people have taken their significant others to school, and they end up dumping them there after amesha soma.
Akishaumuka sasa.
So tunaona hapo mtu anakuja anasema basi nirudishie hata doa yangu alafu uishi uende. So it becomes a debt at that point. Yeah. So on the same point, when you're talking about debt, and you in such a now when you're in such a situation where you've taken somebody to school, and they have decided to move to with another guy, you've invested, and I'm using school as an example. The other things that you can invest in,
umechukua ndugu kumfungulia biashara,
ama you bought them a car, nini do you
rudisha gari yangu uende na huyo wako.
Naongelea vitu kubwa kubwa kwa sababu kuna watu, lakini kuna watu warudisha hata majamba. Kuna watu wanakufinya
utarudisha kila kitu,
hata socks utarudisha. So do you think before we graduate the conversation, do you think that this person would have a claim in the event they decide and say, look, yeah, and I also appreciate that this is a social contract, if I may call it so. Love and affection played a big role when you are making that decision. It was not a contract at the time. So yeah, do you think there's a way you can coil it so that you can get your money back, or maybe even something? Personally, I'd say it's a little bit hard kidogo, because there are people who ask such questions. How can they get back the money? But
personally, how can I evo?
Inakuwa ngumu kwa sababu at the beginning there are some very key tenets of a contract that are not met. Even though you could play that it's an oral contract, but it was not clear from the get-go that unless maybe you claim obtaining money
by false pretenses.
But it will also be a very difficult case.
I think yes. First of all, socially, yes, it is a social contract in that essence. In the legal sense, it's possible, but it will change everything. As in, the dynamics behind that. First of all, that relationship will never be the same again. That is for sure. If you're actually taking someone to court who is your significant other because of some money you gave them, it's going to change the dynamics. And also, like, it just gets really ugly because of how you have to frame it for it to be an actual claim in court. You see, by the time you're filing, because I'm looking at it practically, by the time you're going to file pleadings on that plaint, can you utaandika hapo sasa as like the plaint is like the introductory document that is presented in court that allows the judge to know, to have a background of the matter and understand why you're in court in the first place. So now hapo kwa plaint, by the time you're claiming, what are you suing the person for? Like, you see, that you will have to make it seem like either you sue for something like, let's say for example, if it's that instance of someone is taken to school and then now they've decided to leave and whatnot, you can sue someone for the emotional nini that you've brought to the person. What is it called? Emotional distress that you have brought to the person. That can constitute a civil suit, because if you can show, if you can just prove that the initial intention of this was supposed to be this and this and this, this person has gone and done something different instead, and now because of that it has caused me emotional distress. I paid for your school fees, I bought you this car, or whatever it is, let's use the school fees one. I paid for your school fees so that you can be a better person, so that we can build a life together. You know, that was the initial intention. So you're suing for emotional distress. That's the initial emotion that you had, right? We've gone ahead all the way through. You have met your end of the bargain. Your job was to pay the school fees. Me, my job was to soma and get the degree, what, and actually get to use that particular degree that I've gotten and whatnot. That was the intention on my part. But now, me, I fulfilled my part. You have fulfilled yours. But the emotion, the initial intention of what we wanted to achieve in the first place is not achievable now, because now you're leaving me. Unaniacha. So now you have to put it like that. You know, that requires you to put out a lot of your own personal information, because, you know, people think like going to court is like, it's a fun, it's a good thing, because it exposes a lot about your own life. You know, for you to be able to prove that, you need to be able to give things like, these are the fees I paid, this is what. Maybe even give screenshots of text messages that you had together. Yeah, yes babe, I'll do this for you so that you can be doing the, yeah, okay, that's such a good idea, okay, thank you for doing, you know, you also are exposing yourself. So to answer your question, yes, you can claim, but you'd have to phrase it in a really, really accusatory way, in such a way that the person will look really bad. And you can't expect that now they pay you back the money, then you're like, okay, aya sawa, now we can get back together, and then do the thing. Of course, you're going to part ways after that. There is no way.
So that is if, my assumption is, that is if the person who's been taken to school requested to be taken to school. What if the
person who offered? But
emotional damage. Emotional damage.
Lakini hapo okay, if you offered.
Because inakaka gift sasa.
If you offered, I don't think a legitimate clip. At the top of my head, if he says, if I think about it, I don't see. Because if the person requested, because that's, I don't think. I was going to say yes, it can still be the same thing, but the person will be like, but I didn't ask. It's no legituma.
Yeah, it's a difficult conversation. But anyway, now on to
serious stuff.
Ipia ni serious. Wanaume bana mnakula fare yetu, mnasoma mnatuacha. What do you mean serious stuff?
Kwani there are no women who have educated men over here na wamewacha wapi? Wako.
Wanaume ndo tunaumia.
Me, I'll speak. Ladies, I got your back. Don't worry.
Mnatuacha sana.
Mnatuacha sana.
Tukae
kidogo.
Yes. Bana. Wacha hata ni recoup investment kidogo. But anyway. So, today, as I said, you're talking about a very rosy topic. But if not well handled, the stems of a rose have thorns, and they can be very harmful if at all the roses are not handled. They'll smell nice, and that thing is debt. Yeah, debt, and especially when it comes to debt from a registered financial institution. In this case, a bank, a SACCO, or what some other people are going to call a microfinance. And we've seen situations where people go for facilities, and when I use the word facility, guys, I mean a loan. When you hear the word facility or a mortgage from this podcast, we're just talking about a loan. So people take facilities or loans, and one of the biggest mistakes they do, and we were discussing this before we came here, you say that people are taking facilities when they're desperate. Would you like to explain that?
Okay, ideally, first of all, even when the person is taking a facility, like it's not during episode 1 I said like we talked about like the areas that we handle, our areas of practice, and one of them is this one. It's called perfection of securities. Securities is the same thing as the facility. In instances where
or banking law
basically, real estate. But the time someone is going to take a facility, of course, it's gear for fun. You know, like you have a need that you need to fulfill. Sometimes it can be out of desperation, out of emergency, when maybe someone is trying to pay for like medical or medical bills for a loved one and whatnot. But first of all, taking a facility, it means that there's a need that you need to fulfill with that money. Going about it during desperation, one, the problem usually is you're taken advantage of. There are things that you would not pay attention to at the time because you don't even, hizo zingine details, like you don't even care about whatever is happening. You just want your money. At the end of the day, you just want your money. And then there's also this notion that is there. So by the time you're deciding that, okay, I'm going to the bank to ask for a facility, you go, you enter. The loan officer there, ama whoever will be assisting you from whichever the financial institution you'll be using, will give you a form or will give you like, papers to fill out, and then it goes through the process. One mistake that I see a lot, which now inakuja natuangukia sisi the lawyers, they're not explained to how long it takes by the time you get that facility. It looks like you just know that I've applied for a loan.
I signed these papers,
that's
and
it.
There's money in my account.
Exactly. Siku 3 siku 4. Oh, please, let nobody lie to you.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. Because the process itself is very lengthy. It's actually quite lengthy, and it's important for people to understand. And that's why we are actually shooting this particular episode. Just to like give an overview. In case at any point you're looking to take a facility somewhere, you know how you what to expect, and you know what to look out for, and the important stuff. So for me, I'd like for us to touch on to just touch on that. Let's do like a run through of like from the beginning where we have started. You've gone to the bank. Okay, let's use the bank in this instance. So you have walked in, you have sat down with the loan officer, you have filled out the paperwork and everything, right? They tell you, we are processing this.
Yes.
Processing it now, of course, now they'll have their internal controls and everything that they do on their part. One question that I get a lot is what is happening, where are we? So you see, at that point, one of the things that first they must do after that, one of the processes is they appoint a valuer. The valuer, it's the job of the valuer is to assess the value of the property that you intend to use kama security temenye unaomba loan. Because you see, that valuer will assess your property. Maybe you might want a facility of like 10 million, lakini shamba yako is only worth 5.6. And of course the bank will have to give you a percentage of that. Yes. So atakwambia maybe uchukue ya 4 million. That's one of the processes.
If you're very lucky, because sometimes they do 60-40 just so that they can cover their backs. Because at the point of default, how much money how much room they leave for them to negotiate really matters, and I think we're going to talk about that as we move. But proceed. So
the valuation has already been done. So now you umeambiwa sasa loan yako yenye sisi tunaweza kupatia ni 4 million tu sasa. Unasema ni sawa, hata hiyo itasaidia. Ni 10 nilikuwa nataka but ni sawa, hiyo itasaidia. So at that point, before you even get to the valuation, of course when you're applying, part of the things that you also need to provide is a copy of the title or documentation that is showing what you're going to use as security for that loan, because the bank also, you must give a security of some sorts. So now they've done the valuation. After that, the next thing they do is, now that's at that point is when now the instructions land on our desks. Now, so by the time I'm getting that, me as the lawyer, I also have a process that I have to cover. From the process of registration, the documents I have to prepare, it's called a charge document, and depending also on the nature of the business, nature of the transaction rather, it could be, there could be additional documents. So by the time I prepare those documents, you come to the office, you sign, I send them back to the bank for signing, and then now they are returned to me so that I can undertake registration. So you see, all those processes, if even like they're layered, like there's so many.
Yes.
It's not something that can happen like in a week or something. On average, a security might take like a month.
Yes.
And that's if like people are moving like fast.
Yes.
Or what has been your experience?
That has been my experience as well. In fact, as I said when I started, before we move any further, I can say please do not apply for facility if you're desperate. If you need quick money, that is not the way out.
Yeah, it won't help you.
Yeah.
Because of the length of the process.
Yes, because and I think that's how people end up going to Shylocks and getting some very crazy, which we're also going to talk about. But then don't go for a facility don't go for a facility when you're desperate.
That's the first point.
That's the first point.
Write that down.
Don't go for facility when you're desperate.
Yeah.
Because it takes time, and your relationship managers at the banks don't really tell you the truth. And most times, this process delays more at the bank than even with the lawyers. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes, because I'm sure they handle quite a number of applications. Yes. And then some of the questions that I've also been asked as I practice law in this area are, should I take should I take a loan with a SACCO or with a bank? I usually say it really depends.
I see what you did there.
It really depends on a lot of factors. Both can work, depending on how much money you have sometimes, because you have banks that are going to give you very good rates, and we have SACCOs that are going to give very good rates. It's just that I usually say if you want a very big loan, we're looking at 100 million. Sometimes you could get better rates from a bank. If you want a loan that is under that 100 million, SACCOs are also good, because even the paybacks, the interests are good, and then when you're paying back the money, you're paying it on a reducing balance, which is also something again you can negotiate with the bank. But see, the banks, them being big institutions, high net worth individuals get to enjoy those privileges more than like if you're taking a small facility. Yes. So now it's important that don't take it when you're desperate, because it takes time. Registration at the registries, Kenya's registries sometimes have issues, and especially here in Nairobi right now, it takes a long time to do any transaction, let alone the registration of a charge only. It's generally just other transactions. It takes some time. So, and it is important to know that if you are taking a facility, at the point of you signing that particular the facility letter, whichever, because banks call them differently, others call them facility letters, others call them loan agreements, others call them charges, but once you sign that loan agreement, please endeavor to pay your installments, because the moment you default, the moment you sign off on that loan agreement, basically you're saying, in the event I default, I am allowing the bank to take this property, sell it, okay, without asking me. You've given that consent.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, the bank can, the law tells them if it's undervaluing, it's up to 75%. And that's why I was saying the bank would give you like 60% the value of your property, so that they can have room for them to lower that particular value, so they can get a quick client and regain their investment. So it is very important that you understand that once you sign off on that paper, you are signing off your property in the event, and you're consenting in the event
that you
default. So a loan does not transfer a title to the bank. No.
It only
creates an interest in favor of the bank, or an encumbrance. It just says that the bank has an interest in this property, but the moment you sign, you've not sold your property to the bank.
It's still yours.
Yeah. But at the point of default, now chances of you losing that property are very high.
Yeah.
And I think, guys, you need to understand this. Even when you default, it does not mean you lose your property immediately.
It has to go through certain processes.
You have to get a 90-day notice the transfer about 90 days.
Yeah.
Then the auctioneer needs to give about 40 days.
45 days notice.
45 days notice. And we are looking at 90 plus 45.
That's around almost 4 months.
Around 4 months. Yes,
90 is 3 months, and then 4 months and 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have time. 4 months and 2 weeks. You can
try and restructure and pay. You have the right in under the law to actually redeem your property from that particular facility. So if at all you are debt, your creditor,
creditor
has come to you and they've not given you these notices. They cannot repossess. They cannot repossess that property and sell it. And remember, so long as if it's being sold through auction, so long as the hammers auctioneer's hammer has not hit, has not fallen, then that property is still yours and you can redeem it at any point.
Time.
So long as the auctioneer's hammer has not fallen or dropped. Yes.
Yeah. I think also another thing that we can add on to that, when you were talking about the facility letter when you sign it, also in the charge document. Even in the charge document, there is a part where it is written acknowledgement of Section 90 of the Lands Act.
Yes.
Where that section says that you are aware of everything now that you have said. Like it is going to be auctioned. If you default, these are the consequences of default. Like the property will be auctioned, and it just shows the process. So even when you sign that letter, you can't really say that you didn't know. So because once your signature appears that's it. And that's why this information, that's why we're putting out this information, because people sign, as in, it's just a document you've been given to pate pesa.
And especially when you go to your wakili umesoma ni sign wapi? Please always ask questions.
Yeah. Understand
what you are signing. Yes. Because debt is rosy because you're getting money. But again, roses have thorns on
that will prick you.
They will prick you. Kosa kulipa.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. Don't just trust your lawyer. And I always say, once you give a lawyer your job, trust them. But also make sure that your lawyer explains to you what you're actually getting yourself into. So that, because especially in people, the biggest thing is that we have some very rogue creditors out here who will send you an auctioneer's letter. Without sending you any other notice, and they start advertising your property for sale, especially if it's lucrative, and you're going to lose your property.
That's true.
Without you knowing, because you're under pressure. So always seek legal counsel when you're taking a facility. Even though the bank is going to give you they will ask. That's not actually what happens. Is you'll be told, pick a lawyer from our panel to handle this matter. You are not picking a lawyer to handle your matter first. The law says where you've picked a lawyer from the bank's panel, the obligation of that lawyer first rests with the bank in terms of priority. You become
second.
The lawyer is for the bank. As much as you're just picking that lawyer because the bank cannot allow another advocate who's not on their panel to actually register a loan against your property on their behalf.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it is good to get independent legal counsel.
Yeah. So because basically you're saying that in the event that the interests of the bank are here and your interests are here.
Yes.
If I act for the bank, my first obligation is to the bank, to you.
Not to me.
So what essentially should happen is, yes, I'll pick a lawyer from the bank's panel to represent now the bank.
Yes.
Get another lawyer of your own to just oversee the process. Let them be the one to be doing follow-up emails to ask how far are we with the registration and whatnot. Because you see, it makes it easier that way when they give you that information, they give it to you as their client.
Yes.
Like, tumefika hapa inamaanisha hivi na hivi na hivi. Sasa after hapa ndio tunafaa kwenda hivi na hivi na hivi. Like that. So that's the beauty of having one. I know a lot of people will say, "Sapo ntalipa legal fees mara mbili." Yes, you'll pay twice. You'll pay to the lawyer of the bank and to your own personal lawyer for overseeing that. But if this thing goes wrong, it will cost you in the long run. No, ulikuwa try to save 20k ama 30k. And then now you see your property is in jeopardy because you didn't even know. No one explained to you this whole process.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Legal counsel is important, guys.
It is important.
Yeah.
If you think, I always say, if you think compliance is expensive, try non-compliance.
Yeah.
So okay, of course it's not mandatory for you to go to comply. To get a lawyer as a form of compliance. All I'm just trying to say is you'd rather have one than lack one.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you are going to get some very good briefs and a good counsel when it comes to you taking the facility, and you'll get to understand what you're signing yourself
what you're doing
into.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it is also important for people to know if at all you're married.
I was actually just about to touch on that. Continue.
Okay, take it away. Now that you are the one who had it popped in your mind at some point. And it's good that we are thinking the same
thing. So, it means we're in sync.
Correct.
Yeah. Another thing, see, now we've talked about like that whatever you are signing. First you are signing that part, consenting to allow the bank to actually usher on your property in the event that you default on your payments. The other thing is where you sign saying that yes, I do accept this loan, like under that document. And the funny thing is the way these documents are structured. I don't even notice, by the way, that part for signing for section 90, it comes first before you can even consent to taking the loan. Execution page your own nini will come after. You must first allow the bank. Kanga ukijua, basically wanakuambia kanga ukijua usipotulipa tutauza. Umesikia?
That's what you sign first before you even sign the loan. The page where you are signing
the loan, like accepting now to take the loan.
Contract, yes.
Ujue.
You first sign off your property.
Ujue tutauza. Tumekubaliana? Ni sawa? Sawa. So kusign ni wewe kusema ni sawa. Anambia sawa. Kama umekubali ni sawa. Tunaweza kupea loan basi. Ayashika sasa. Alafu sasa ndio the part for the bank comes as the third place. The part now, the bank is supposed to sign also consenting that yes, they will give you this amount of money. And then the other very, very important one, spousal consent. See, we've talked about all these other pages that you have signed.
Yes.
Now we are doing the spousal consent.
Yes.
So the spousal consent is that document that states that I am aware that actually it's being sworn now by your spouse. In this case, I don't want to gender because like it can go either way. That one is usually signed by your spouse. If you are married, you are saying this I'm the wife or the husband of this and this and this person. I am aware that they are taking a facility with the bank and they are using this property as the security. And I also agree, I consent, it is fine. Munaweza mpatia hiyo pesa. Ninaelewa pia that hii consent ni kitu ya muhimu sana. I understand this consent is important, and if this property is auctioned or it is sold, it is okay because we have defaulted. Pia mimi nakubali hiyo. I will not come and I won't come and like interfere there. Then by putting your signature, you're like, it's okay, sawa, I've agreed. Then in the instance that the person is not married or they are single, hapo kwa your document, either way, you will still sign and declare to the bank that I am single and I don't have a spouse, so this page does not need anyone to sign. It is supposed to be me. So shida inatokeanga pale. Wewe umeenda kwa bank na property na maybe in such instances usually it's in your name only. You have gone to the bank secretly, you've gotten the documents, you've filled them out, everything, and then ikifika hapo pati ya charge wanakuambia umeoa, utauliza kwa nini nataka kujua hiyo. Unajua hapa kuna nini consent yenye inafaa kutoka kwa spouse. Sema hapana, hutaki mama ama ajue.
Mama Mbogo akijua ninashukua nini. Na hiyo unajua ninataka ndio ninunulie gashugua kagari na hii pesa. Lakini usichukue loan kununulia side chick vitu baby ama side guy. Hiyo ni ujinga. So you're for sure. You understand sugarcoat, that's for sure. Haya, so now you have said that no, actually I am not married. So hapo kwa hiyo that hapa mama Bogo akijua, you're replaying that conversation in your head, and now you decide to tell this person, no, me I'm not married. You swear it that you're a single person. Alafu bank ki discover. Utaenda aje? Ukufe? Ama hame Kenya.
What is the effect? Mambo ni mawili. What is the effect?
But anyway, I think before I say the effect or I share the effect, it is important that you know that this applies to property that is acquired during the subsistence of a marriage. So any property that you acquire, regardless of whether you register it within the subsistence, any property that you acquire within the subsistence
of the marriage, is the one that you require to you're expected to ask for consent. It's not all of them.
Yes, no.
For as long as you're married, it's all of them.
No. So anything that you acquire within the subsistence of the marriage. Before that's not matrimonial property. That's what. So matrimonial property will be property acquired within the subsistence, whether it is under the name of both spouses or one person of the two.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. We'd have to confirm.
We'll check that up. But that's how it is. So matrimonial property is what we acquire during marriage. Matrimonial.
Yeah.
So and
the effect
would be the property, the charge becomes voidable at the option of the spouse who has not consented. Using the word voidable meaning it is not void it's not void ab initio. Like what I mean is it's not totally void.
Like it doesn't cancel out the entire transaction. The interest of the bank is still there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then your relationship manager would be required to speak to your spouse to come for them to agree to put in their consent, or find a way to mediate, because the law says matrimonial property cannot be charged without the consent of
the spouse.
So if you follow the strict sense of the law, we are looking at a very dangerous place,
and it's dangerous for the bank mostly.
For the bank, the bank is exposed, and as a consequence, your relationship also with the bank and other banks probably, because you see they've definitely red light you. I don't think you'd be able to take a facility in other place, and you see you're blocking your blessings, your debt blessings, if I may call them so. So it is important that you actually ensure that your spouse consents to the facility, if at all that property forms matrimonial property. But I see that only happens that mostly happens when you default. That's when you start seeing these things like those. But now also there are times when you're going to take the facility, leave the facility papers all over, the wife finds them, and they decide, I'm your husband.
Then now it's a problem, and the nini has already, the money has been disbursed. The banks don't like to hear things like those. They will. No financial institution really, whether you're getting from a bank or anywhere. It
exposes the lawyers who handle that matter. Your professional indemnity is exposed. There's just a lot, and it's just one piece of paper. That consent is one page.
Literally, it's one signature. One signature.
Now it can cause a lot. So it is important for you to engage your spouse. If you're taking a facility, they should consent to that particular
to the taking of their facility.
Yes, the taking of the facility, so that you avoid such embarrassments.
What about in instances where, like, because there are people who like have not like legally been married like that to the point where a consent is required. What if like boyfriend girlfriend are taking a facility together, something like that, like they decide umeanza kukuwa uncomfortable all of a sudden.
You are worried for those people already.
If they decide,
I'm worried for them.
If they decide boyfriend girlfriend, they decide we want to take a facility together, but my man ama the chick is the one who owns the property, because maybe they didn't buy it jointly. Because if they took it jointly, something like that wouldn't be required. You just declare the single part, and you're already aware anyway, so it won't be an issue. You know, in the instance that it's boyfriend, girlfriend. And when I say that, I mean like you're not married, regardless of how long or how serious your relationship is. As long as you're not
single.
By the way, perform una tick single either way.
Forms that una tick single.
Yeah. So what happens in an instance like that now?
So one, legally there is no obligation for a consent. However, in that situation, what will happen? That loan facility is going to be structured in a manner that both of them are going to be part of that facility. What we'd call ideally a third party charge. Where the owner of the property is the charger and the person and the boyfriend or the girlfriend, whoever is not the charger, becomes the borrower. So that means if anything goes wrong, both of you are in trouble. So if you give your boyfriend or your girlfriend a property and you think that the ones who are being given the money and something happens and they're not going to come for you, you're also in it.
I agree. Because both of you will have defaulted in that state.
Yes.
But then you see,
but then sorry, say first what you have to say so that I can.
Yeah, okay. But then you see, in an instance like that, the part where they will come for both of you will only be up to the bank level as borrowers. Once they're exercising their rights, once the bank is exercising its right to sell because you have defaulted, the person who will suffer is the person whose name appears on the title.
Correct.
Because they are the ones who signed. Unaona hiyo part ingine yenye tumetoka kudiscuss hizo ma signature, those ones hapo section 90 what. He's the one who signs that part.
Yes, as the charger.
As the charger.
Correct.
So the only part where you sign as the borrower, because now you are together, ni hiyo page ingine after charger amesha kubali. Practically put, your boyfriend or girlfriend, whoever it is, will agree to the bank. Ni sawa tu, najua tunachukua loan pamoja, lakini mimi nimeshakubali, najua shamba ni yangu, so mimi nimeshakubali, tukidefault sisi wote mnaweza uza shamba yangu. So you see, the person who actually is the registered owner of that property is the one who is like exposed. This other person, the obligation will only end at the bank.
Yes. Hoping they've not given personal guarantees. Because there's a way banks have become clever in the sense that if at all this property will not fetch enough, then these financial institutions are going to require you as the boyfriend, as a girlfriend who's not the owner, who will just use the property to borrow, to guarantee and say, if at all something goes wrong with this property, I will also pay and make sure that you actually realize your money, what I borrowed. The bank, you're guaranteeing the bank that you're going to realize the defaulted amount and I'm going to pay it. So it is possible for you to do facility. There won't be a consent. You just structure it differently in a legal way, and that's why it is important to get the counsel of an advocate. Whatever advocate, you can decide to come to us because we also practice that at the firm. But get legal counsel, and because this is just educational purposes. So get proper legal counsel. That and will
circumstances
get you,
are different.
And also. Circumstances are very different.
For every facility, like it matters. So we in summary, as we wind up, we have talked about the most important things. We have said that one, do not take a facility when you are desperate.
Don't.
It takes some time.
Yes.
Roho itapiga sana bure tu. Roho itapiga sana bure tu. Two, we have explained the different what is it called, the different scenarios where you are married and where you are not. In instances where you are married and where you are not, what you need to expect. You mentioned something about Shylocks, because you see, that's also, if you're telling people that, if you're saying that you don't take a facility when you're desperate, na mi for real niko desperate, nahitaji hiyo pesa. Some people decide to go to a Shylock. I don't recommend. The interest rates are
crazy. And Shylocks are not regulated under the Kenyan law. There's no law that just regulates them. How they're supposed to operate. So mostly we usually look at those kind of arrangements as contracts and not loan agreements or loan arrangements. But then those even with the contract, even when it goes to court, there's something called the in duplam rule, where it says at the moment interest stops accruing when it matches the principal that is due. So you cannot pay more than interest what you borrowed.
The interest.
So if you borrowed 100 million, you cannot pay
300.
No, you can't pay 101 million. The interest can only be another 100 million. So you can only pay up to 100 million plus another 100 maximum. So the interest should not surpass the principal amount due.
But then how does that operate when in the case of a Shylock? Does that like
now you see the Shylocks you will end up paying higher than that. That's what I'm saying, they're not regulated. So when you go to court, what the courts have said in the past is let's reduce this interest to a reasonable cost so that it can fall under the rules of the Induplum rule.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what the courts have said in its decisions in the past.
Okay.
That yes, they'll tell the Shylock you are owed this money and this person consented, but we also need to be reasonable.
Yeah.
But then you see with Shylocks, they have other ways of collecting their money. That's also another thing.
That's
so
the
thing. It's dangerous two-way.
Yeah, but
they
could
hurt you. They could.
Yeah, but the time you're getting to court, even them, they don't want to be taken to court.
Yes,
they don't want to be taken to court. So
they're saying, I give you my money quick, pay it back quick. Yeah. Even it's very dangerous.
Even out of desperation, that's not a good thing to do. Shylocks will just, I don't know.
Shylocks, avoid if you can avoid.
I would not recommend.
Yes.
And the interest, you see, also the other thing is you will have consented again out of desperation. Ni sawa nakurudishia nipe tu, and maybe you have said you're paying like an interest of like 10%.
Even per day. Sometimes.
The interest and it keeps accruing. Like if you owed, like let's say for example 1,000, chantumeyo just you ndo receipt calculate size. If you owe 1,000 shillings, na mimi nakwambia nakupatia 1,000 lakini ujue unarudishia 1,500. No, that's half. That's half of the nini.
Yes. That's 50%.
That's 50%.
Yes.
You will have to pay that 50%, and then on top of that, usiponirudishia hiyo 50 within. So umeniambia unanirudishia within a week. Haya. Next week ikifika, ujue tunafanya tena 10% of that.
Yes.
10% of that. Na inaenda ikiaccrue. Eventually uliomba mtu 1,000, you end up paying 10. How?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not
because
feasible.
they're not legally regulated. So I understand times are hard.
Yeah.
I think when you started to say tunapigana na Ruto, life is difficult. I totally understand. But let's find other ways to get money if at all we don't have cash at hand. And of course, I always advise all my clients, don't take a facility for a liability. Don't take a facility to go have fun. Don't take a facility to go on holiday. Just take a facility to make sure that you're pumping it into a business.
Yeah.
Or something that is going to give you more value than money that you're going to eat for a weekend and just. That's
why I was saying. Don't take a loan to buy things for your aside if you have one. That is very hapana. That does not make any sense.
Yeah.
So. Anything else we've left out? I think we've touched on the most important things. If there are any questions or any clarifications that you require when it comes to these things, leave your comments on the comment section. We'll see what we can clarify there. If it requires even further communication, you can reach us through our social media accounts, Wide Podcast on Instagram, both Instagram and TikTok, and we'll be able to guide you through that.
Yes.
So as we wind up ile ukuli. Unajua tumekuwa tukiwind up for sijui how long. Yeah, pasta. Parting shot. One last thing. Parting shot.
I think now that you're talking about money, I'll just leave people with this quote. And it's because I think we're struggling in Kenya because money is not moving.
It's not in high
it's
circulation.
Not circulating. So people don't have money on their hands. I'd say, and I learned this from social media. Yeah. Money is like shit. When it piles, it stinks.
I wish ningesema wa kwanza juu sasa yako imeenda hivi sana. I wish ningesema wa kwanza.
Yes.
Mimi sasa parting shot for me, plan. Don't just wake up one day and decide you're going to take a facility. Okay. Money is very emotive, and also usichukue facility kununulia side chick kama side guy nini kagari kama Mr. Mbugwa. That's not good. That's my parting shot. Hiya, thank you very much you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Please leave a like, share and subscribe to our channel. Share it with your family group. Talk to people, especially our diaspora audience. Ni nyinyi ndio tunataka kusaidia sana with this kind of information.
Yes.
Yeah. Which also ties to a previous episode that we had also touched on estate planning. So this is just a culmination of that. So if you watch that, this one now you'll have more information from there.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
As always, peace.